Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Roxy Fab, and this is the Roxy Fab Show. Today, we're going to have a deep discussion with Wendy Torres and Amy Bermudez. They are sisters of a young man named Anthony Segura, who's 34. He was an EMT, and he's currently in a prison facility for robbery. He had a gambling problem, and even in the prison system, it was never treated. At this moment, though, it's a little tough. He's in a heart and lung center in New Jersey with kidney and liver failure. He's on dialysis with a weak heart, and today, at this very moment, he's in an induced coma. It all started at the end of January. He tested positive for COVID. Around February 7th, he received the Moderna vaccine. He was good. He seemed okay. Everything was all right. Maybe 2 days later, February 9th, he started to complain a little bit. His throat began to swell. Things were feeling different. He wasn't feeling like he was 2 days prior to. He ended up getting weak, not having an appetite. And, we all go through things. And as men, egos and things like that, he was scared. And he didn't want to complain. He figured it's going to go away. I'm going to be all right. It's going to be cool. Unfortunately, it wasn't. And on February 17th, he was shipped to another facility that was supposed to help him out, I guess. I don't even understand why he was shipped to another facility and not an ER. That's one other problem that I have with this whole situation. I don't understand why that even happened. I don't mean to get off track, but I don't get that. I don't get that at all. If anyone is having problems breathing or whatever, this doesn't feel right, why are you sending someone to another facility just because they have an infirmary? No, not for breathing. No, not for breathing. Finally, February 22nd, via helicopter. Now again, this went from February 7th to February 9th to February 17th to February 22nd. So from the 17th to the 22nd, and we're talking about just days ago, they let him struggle with the breathing. And, didn't pay attention. Doesn't matter if he was scared and didn't tell anybody. You know what I mean? The guys knew. The guys on the block knew. People knew. Guards knew. They checking every day. He has to eat. Or even attempt to eat. Somebody knew that he was in there struggling to breathe. And they didn't care. They didn't care. So the one thing I'm always going to do is be raw. The bottom line is that this whole situation, they just didn't care. And again, so February 22nd, a helicopter. We're going to say that again. A helicopter. When this all could have been avoided, a helicopter took him to where he's at today. Because he went into cardio shock. If you don't know what it is, Google it, and you will sit there with your mouth open like, what? How did this even happen from this to this? February's not even over. Okay? We're talking I'm still in from February 7th to February 22nd. You're supposed to monitor somebody, A, when they have COVID, okay? B, when they get the vaccine. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't believe that you're supposed to get the vaccine when you have COVID. Mm-hmm. I'm not a doctor.
You're not supposed to.
I'm not a nurse, but I'm also not stupid. We're not stupid. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to give days or weeks.
60 days.
60 to 90
days. And also do another test to make sure
right,
they're
do
positive
another
or negative.
A negative test.
Yes.
Correct. Right. Exactly. All that cardio shock, and this is where we are. This is Wendy in the black.
Hi.
And that's Amy. Amy's the younger sister.
Mm-hmm.
Wendy's the older sister. I don't even know what to say. I mean, when I talked to you the other day, I was like I am right now. I guess it makes you angry. It doesn't matter.
And that's a lot of question.
Yeah, it doesn't matter where you are, where you're from, where you live, any of those things. It doesn't matter that you're incarcerated. You're still a human being.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You're still a resident of the United States of America.
Yes.
And it shouldn't have happened this way.
No.
You know, and then the communication, you know, I'm just at a loss. So, I know you guys are still asking the same questions as well, you know what I mean, as the why and the how did this happen. Now, do you feel that it was because of COVID and the vaccine? Do you feel like he possibly had an infection? He obviously didn't have any underlying conditions because you told me that you talked to him 2 times a day.
Yes.
You know, they haven't been able to have visitors in
For
a
a
year because of COVID. Mm-hmm. So that's the other thing. He didn't catch COVID from his family members.
From anybody.
You know, we know COVID is flying through the prison systems as we speak. And again, because let me not rephrase that, but change my wording, because it's not about nobody cares, because a lot of people do care, but the people who should care don't care.
Yes.
You know, and it shouldn't be flying through the prison system. How are people able to go to work and not get tested? You know what I mean? So workers are going to work. Directors, whoever it is, are going to work at these prisons and not getting tested. You know, so I'm going to sit back for a second because I need you to...
Okay, another thing. When they get COVID, they don't get treated as they're supposed to. They take them out from the unit and put them to another unit for they could take care of themselves.
Okay, so wait a minute.
Yeah.
So, okay. So then they isolate them from everybody. And which, don't get me wrong, we're supposed to quote unquote quarantine. But in prison, I can just imagine that it's almost like, okay, well, here you go. You're going to go in solitary confinement and we're just going to check on you once in a blue moon. You know?
Basically.
Yeah. And as far as, so when he requested the vaccine, because I'm assuming he requested it.
Yes.
Yeah. When he requested the vaccine, was it any hesitation? Was it any, you know, hey, well, wait a minute? Or was it just, okay, cool, we're going to do it. Come downstairs at such and such time. And
my question is also, this is my question, because I haven't been able to speak to him because he's in induced coma.
Right.
How, if I'm going to give you, and I'm a doctor or a nurse, I don't know who gave him the vaccine. You should have a chart. Mm-hmm. You should see when he was tested. You should know. Right. You should know, okay, it takes 60 to 90 days in order for you to get your vaccine. As a person, I should tell you, or as a doctor, whatever, and you're a patient to me, I should tell you, well, listen, Mr. Segura, you was just positive for COVID. We haven't tested you. So I think you need to wait 3 to 4 months to get your vaccine, and you have to get tested again.
Right.
You understand?
Right. Right.
And I think if they would have told him that, we can't give it to you.
Right.
We can't give it to you.
Because they already know.
Yeah.
He doesn't know.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And to me, it's almost like they took that for granted. Mm-hmm. You know, he doesn't know, so we're not going to tell him because whatever. You know, but they know. They're the medical industry. They know, and to do it 2 days later is mind-boggling to me. Mm-hmm. I mean, there is a list.
Yes.
You know, let's not act like in his file that it doesn't say he tested positive.
They had to have a file.
Right, because they had to separate him.
Yes, he had an inmate number. They have to know who they're giving it to.
Right.
You understand? So in that record, I'm assuming it should say positive such and such a time day. This day, still it should say they did another test, but just before anything, the dates,
right,
timing,
right, and they know it's the same month. So I mean, not to be heck with a date, it's the same month. So no, you're gonna have to wait until March. That would have even sufficed. You know what I mean?
Not time.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's at least 30 days, but it's not enough. But I'm just saying, like, no, we just, you just tested positive the other day. We got to wait a little while. But again, because he didn't have the knowledge, because again, he's like me and you discussed. I talked to Wendy the other day. He's not watching the news as much as we can. Yeah. That freedom is taken away. Things shut down at a certain time. You have to do this at a certain time. Your life is different. So he's not aware of, you can't do this for at least 60 days. And you have to get another COVID test, be negative before you have to do this.
Yes.
But again, it doesn't matter that he didn't know. They knew.
And he didn't speak to me about it when he told me. 2 days have passed already. Because another thing, since they changed him from units, he didn't have the same privilege he had before to speak to me. Because that's another thing. Since he was taken out from there, it was totally different. That's why he was scared, because he was like, oh man, then it's like starting over again. Over again. So I don't want to start over again, because then the timing, everything is totally different.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that was like, no, I'm not saying nothing.
Right, because it was basically like solitary. In solitary, you can't talk to anybody.
Yes.
Yeah, and because he tested positive, well, we can't let you touch the phone, and we can't let you do this, and we can't let you do that. You know what I mean? But it's still, if he can't, and this is how I've always felt, if he can't, then who should? Someone should have contacted his family and said, hey, we just want to let you know, he tested positive for COVID. He's in isolation. We have to keep him in there for X amount of days. He did request the vaccine, but we're not going to do, who's the worker? Who's, like I said, I don't know the ladder, but who is that person? Like, I'm sorry. I mean, I just don't get it. I don't get it. I just don't get it. If you're throwing someone in solitary because of COVID, they can't call anybody. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand. Someone should have contacted you guys and said, this is what's happening. I mean, what are you going to wait? You're going to wait till he's in the helicopter and call you?
Another thing, if he would have never given his friend my number, nobody would have ever called me to tell me what was going on with my brother. I would have never known what was going on.
Because to date,
we would still be on that.
Right.
Yes, I would have been thinking, oh well, since they transfer him from one unit to another, he still can't get to the phone, or he got into because that's another thing. We're always worried. What could happen if we don't hear from him? Like, did anything happen? This and this. So many questions goes through our head.
Yeah, because you were talking to him 2 times a day.
A day, as much as he could, he would call me.
Right. Yeah, so for the communication to drop, you're going to question it. Like, wait a minute, what's going on? You know what I mean? This is my brother.
Yes.
I talk to him all the time as much as possible. What's up? I mean, and I really feel like if and when that happens, there should be somebody. Because I will assume, again, I don't know, but I will assume there's a worker or a caseworker or something that's assigned to, let's make it up, last name starting with A through H or something. Like, there has to be, there has to be a social worker, a caseworker, whatever, that does that. I'm not going to leave it up to the guard because that's not their job, but there should be somebody. There's somebody in there running these files. There's somebody in there handling all these things, and a phone call could have been made. It should have been made. And I'm not saying that it would have prevented anything, but it possibly would have prevented him having that vaccine.
Yes.
Because you would have, hey, you know what, you guys, he doesn't know. He's not watching the news. He doesn't have this information. We don't want you to do this. And let him know that we said that or something.
I should have not said this. As a doctor, as a nurse, whatever you are, you should know this.
Right.
You should know this.
Damn.
Because they should tell you, listen, you got to make sure that this inmate's are negative. It's been 30 days, 90, anything. They should have told him. They should have known all this.
Yeah, and they did know.
They just treat them as guinea pigs. That's how I look at them.
Yeah, they did know. And I was listening to something the other day, and it actually said, and I think I said this to you, I'm not sure. I know I said it to someone else, but they said that they treat them like animals.
Like dogs.
Locked up in a cage.
Yes, like dogs.
You know, and that's not what they are, no matter what they did. That's not what they are. We don't know anyone's circumstance. And I'm not making excuses for anybody. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. I'm not making excuses for anyone who murdered anyone. Or I'm not making excuses for any of those things. But we don't know their background. We don't know their history. We don't know what made them do that. What You know what I mean? Like you said, with your brother, you know, it was a dumb mistake.
Listen, my brother helped me raise my 2 oldest daughters. My brother, me and him been through so much, through thick and thin. He has helped out so many people. He has been there for a lot of people. If my brother had to stop eating to feed it to somebody, he would give it to that person. If he had $1 and you needed it, he would give it to you. You understand? My brother's heart is gold.
To be an EMT, you had to be. I know I can't do that.
Like, you just don't understand the type of person he is. He did make a mistake that he has regretted since the day he did it. Mm-hmm. Since the day he did it. Because he lost a lot. Yeah. A lot. And he wanted to come out here to be a better person. Yeah. And now he's fighting. He was a healthy person, a good heart, good kidneys, exercise every day. After he was feeling better from the COVID, his inmate told me he was doing exercise already. He told me and my brother, which is also called, that he was doing exercise before the vaccine. He was doing exercise. He was eating everything. He didn't even know he had the COVID, honestly. He felt some type of stuff, you know, but after a couple of days, he was good. He was like, oh, I think I was just sick.
Yeah, because it's winter.
Yeah, you know, I think I was just sick. It must have been a cold. I'm okay already. But then they did the test, and he was like, can you believe I'm positive and I feel okay already? He was more worried about because they changed him from unit. And I told him, listen, you're good though.
Right.
You don't know everything that's going on out here. People dying, can't breathe. A lot of stuff is going on. You're lucky they just changed you from one unit to another unit.
Right, and you're possibly thinking, all right, he sounds good.
Yeah.
He's okay. And when I say this, I know you'll understand what I mean. At least at the moment while we have this ridiculous pandemic, I know he's in there and he's okay.
And he should be safe.
You know that, right? And he should be safe. He's not out here doing anything, running to anybody with COVID, with anything. You know what I mean?
Nobody's going over there.
Right. Nobody's going there.
You
can't have visitors. You're thinking, all right, well, at least if he has it, he should be taken care of in there. Everything should be okay. You know, and instead, you know, it's almost like I said, I it gets me stuck. I just can't. The more I kept thinking about this after me and you spoke, you know, I don't know how many people I told, you know, because I kept just saying, you know, my girlfriend was on the phone on my way here. Can you believe this? Like, I just couldn't. And everybody's like, wow, are you serious? I'm like, yes, like this is completely unacceptable. And like you said as well, you know that there's a lot of other families, you know what I mean? And
yes, a lot.
Yeah. Go ahead.
When I was calling to find out about him, they were like, oh, well, we cannot tell you nothing because they had to sign a paper to give permission. Excuse me. Did my brother know? A healthy person right now is not thinking about, I need to sign a paper if anything happens to me. Right. You understand?
Right.
Did you ever speak to him while he was okay about this paper that he needs to sign it just in case? No, he doesn't know nothing. Because believe me, he would have signed that paper so his family could know what was going on with him.
Right.
You understand? But he didn't know nothing. And then they tell me, well, where he's at, he has a phone. So I'm now when you tell me that, my head is like, excuse me? I would have preferred for you to tell me he doesn't have a phone to call you.
Right.
Because you don't understand, me and my brother speak every day. 1 or 2 times, whenever he has a chance, the first thing he does is call me or call my brother or anybody, his kids, anybody, whoever he wants, he calls somebody.
Right.
So you telling me he has a phone right next to him and he's not calling nobody?
Right.
See, now you got my head going crazy.
Right. Now I'm 2 seconds from trying to come up there.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And he has children?
Yes, he has a 16-year-old son. He has 3 kids. He has a 9-year-old, a 16-year-old, and he has a 7-year-old.
Okay.
8. He just turned 8, 9, and 16.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't, like I said, I apologize for constantly stuttering because it totally
Don't worry
leaves
about
me.
it.
It told Siri was answering me. I must have sounded like you for a second. I don't know how. I didn't have that accent. Siri said, "Don't worry about it." It leaves me speechless. You know, we watch the news, and it's crazy because I do my best not to watch the news because I just take it all in, and it just kills me. So, but you know, we're watching the news during this whole thing, during the prior president to the current president, all these kind of things. So we know what's going on, and it's just like, so all these other things going on, but we're not taking care of. We know, we've already been told this prison guard had it. It's flying through this prison. The cases are high in this prison. And so we know it's happening.
Yes.
And how we're having lines now. 10,000 people were vaccinated over the weekend. You know what I mean? At the Leah Cora Center or at the, what are we doing in there? You know, what are we doing in there?
Are they checking the prisoners? Are they doing the job? Because how is this going on?
Right. How is it even, how is it even there? It can't be there from anybody else but the workers.
Yes.
Because you haven't been able to go.
1 year.
And we're going on a year in this pandemic in about 20 days. I mean, it'll be a year. So these people are able to come and go as they please to work and not get tested, knowing that they're interacting with everybody so closely, and just one little, and then 2 seconds later you touching the door and that person's touching that. You know what I mean? Within seconds.
They don't have Lysol. They don't have the stuff that they need to protect themselves also. Because how do they clean the doorknob? How do they clean their hands? Like, what are they what are they doing in there to protect them?
Right, and if they're sharing a cell, and there's usually a toilet or whatever, so I go, then you go, then I go, then you go, and I don't have anything to disinfect. So if I have COVID, I already gave it to you.
Yes.
I mean, other than sleeping right there, we're touching things every single day in a small unit. I mean, and then as far as workers, they're eating lunch together. They're talking on the phone. They're, you know what I mean? You're I know it's old school, but I'm using this walkie-talkie thing during the day. When my shift is over, I'm putting it down, and then you come in and you using it. Nothing's wiped off, nothing's sprayed. Because people run out of disinfectant, and it's like, all right, well, they'll be all right.
Yeah.
It's a shower a specific time of the day. It's not like they can, I need to go wash my hands real quick. Do we have any hand sanitizer? It's not even available like that.
Yep.
I mean, and like, and what did you say, Amy? Do you feel like they're treated like what?
Like guinea pigs.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's yeah, I like I said, I stutter at it because I just don't understand. I couldn't even imagine, and what I would be feeling if that was my brother.
And when he got to call me on Friday. When I heard my brother is a strong man. When I heard my brother trying to gasp for air, almost crying, telling me what was happening, I didn't know what to do. And it was on a Friday. That Saturday and Sunday, no social worker, nothing to speak to somebody. Like, I was like, this is crazy. And I told him, that's when I asked him, did they ever tested you to, again, from the COVID? He told me no, but he couldn't really speak because he was gasping for air. He tried to speak to me as much as he could.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, so why didn't they take you to emergency room?
Right.
Why are you there? But he couldn't really answer too much stuff because it was hard for him. And just the way I heard my brother, I felt like this, I don't even know how to, I felt hopeless. I don't, it was crazy. I just wanted to get to where my brother was and take him out and call 911, somebody do something for my brother.
Yeah.
Then I speak to a nurse and she tells me, oh, he just has an infection. He's under IV and antibiotics. And I asked her, and I told her, listen, I just spoke to my brother and he needs air. He's gasping for air.
Right. Did he give him an inhaler?
No. Why don't you give him something to help him breathe? He's under IV and antibiotics. But I'm telling you, I know my brother. I heard him. I'm not seeing him, but I'm hearing him. And he needs help. He needs help. And then I just Saturday was coming, Sunday came, and I was waiting for my brother to call. But I didn't get no call till Monday morning that I got that call that said that my brother was taken to the heart and lung hospital in a cardio shock arrest.
Mm-hmm. And it's oh my God, and it's like I told y'all this Friday. I told y'all this Friday. And it's very possible that if you would have acted on this Friday or even Saturday morning.
They took him on Wednesday to infirmary.
Okay. Yeah, I just can't. Like I said, those steps, you know what I mean, from February 7th.
4 days gasping.
Yeah, from February 7th, COVID, to the 9th, the vaccine, to the 17th. And then from the 17th to the 22nd, unable to breathe, basically.
Everything went downhill.
And it went so fast. It went so fast. And right before their eyes. It's not like they knew he wasn't eating because they had to pick up the tray.
When he was in infirmary, they had to give him the food. So they have to see what was going on.
Right. And an IV is not helping anybody breathe. It's not helping anybody breathe. It has nothing to do with your lungs. Mm-hmm. That's almost like a feeding thing so you don't get hungry. You know what I mean? Or to help you boost your immune system or whatever it is. That's not helping him breathe.
No.
I mean, I'm not understanding. I'm not understanding any of that. And it's heartbreaking. It's like I want to call as many people as I know. Yo, it's like I don't even know what to do. You know what I mean? And
that's what I need, help. So my brother, when he comes out of this, because I know he's gonna come out of this, he don't touch that jail again, because now his liver, his heart, everything is weak. He's not the same person he was before. How do I know my brother is not gonna get COVID again? Right. And is he gonna be strong enough to survive? What if he gets another infection? I got so much question right now, and if anybody could help me with a phone number, anything, so I could help my brother come home.
Yeah, and any type of support, any pro bono lawyer, anything, that can help the situation. I had something to say and it escaped me for a second. Again, because I just don't understand. I'm never speechless.
And for anybody,
this just really confuses me. You know what I mean? And I wanna, and please know, we're gonna stay in touch.
Yes.
You know what I mean? If not, I'm not gonna blow you up daily. But
you
I
could,
definitely want to talk to you.
You could, because right now we need all the help we can for my brother.
I definitely want to talk to you weekly, and see what we can do. But we need some help. We definitely need some help.
And we need to help those people because it's not only my brother, it's a lot of incarcerated people. People need to start looking and finding out what's going on with their family. If you don't know nothing, look, because they are not treated the way they're supposed to be treated.
Mm-hmm. And especially since you can't visit.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You can't visit. Who knows when that's going to open up? Who knows? But for right now, you haven't been able to visit for a year. You know, and you've got to stay on top of it. Who's your worker? Who's this? Who can I tell? You got to stay on top of it, like you said, because you don't know. You don't know what's going on. You know, and with COVID, they don't really want to tell you.
Yeah.
They don't really want to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, man, like I said, I had something else, and it just totally escaped me. But you're right. He is going to pull through it, though.
Yes.
He definitely is. And he's going to pull through it for his kids and for you guys.
For everybody that loves him.
Yeah.
And for himself.
He is. And I believe that he knows that. You know? I believe that he knows that. So what we need is any type of help at all. Other than prayer.
Yes, a lot of prayer for Anthony Segura. Please
a lot of
have
prayer.
him in your prayers.
He's only 34 years old. He's only 34 years old. And you already know the timeline. Like, I'm still repeating it in my head. You know, this just happened. Today is only the 26th of February. You know, this just happened on the 22nd, 4 days ago. You know, and it flew from February 7th until now. You know, he was okay, and now he's in an induced coma.
Fighting for his life.
It's completely unacceptable, you guys. It's unacceptable. You know, it's unacceptable. We have marches and protests for so many things. You know, for so many things that are real. Don't get me wrong. I mean, shout out to all of us who protest for things that we know that we're discriminated against, or people think we're not supposed to have, etc. But this needs to be spoken about. Somebody needs to help. Somebody needs to interact. Somebody needs to stand up for these men and women. Somebody needs to stand up for these people. You know, they're still like us. They just made a mistake. He just made a mistake. And he made a little mistake, you know, that he regrets every single day. And he was an EMT. He was out here saving lives. You know, so you already know he's got a heart of gold. We don't even need to meet him. He was out here saving lives. Can you just imagine being an EMT and pulling up on a scene? You know, we see it on TV all the time. In the news and on Law and Order SVU. You know, real stuff. He was a real EMT. You know, and he just needs his life back. But he cannot go back to prison on dialysis and all these issues that he's got right now. Because he's definitely, like Wendy said, he's not the same person. It's not the same body. He's not the same as he was on February 7th. Again, today's only the 26th. So yeah, I'm sorry. Any help? Anybody? We need anything. Any type of information, any type of help, any type of service that you can provide to help Anthony Segura's family. We deeply, deeply appreciate it. You can call me at 917-397-0998. Again, that's 917-397-0998. If I don't pick up, please leave a message, a very detailed message. You can also email me at roxyfabgirl@gmail.com. That's ROXIFABGURL@gmail.com with any information that I can pass on to this family. Before we go, I know the time. Before we go, I did want to say this though. There's 500 to 700,000 men in this country that are too poor to pay for cash bail. Right now we're just talking about the prison system, period. So there's so many people in this country that are in prison when they shouldn't even be there because they couldn't afford to pay bail. Okay? Something dumb. If you post $5,000, $500, whatever it was, you can go ahead and go home and wait for your trial. But they don't have the money. They're that poor that they're spending week after week, month after month. And now, as we know, the Khalid Browder story, he spent years in Rikers, and he was 16 because his mom didn't have bail money. And he came out and committed suicide because he shouldn't have been there in the first place. Right now, Texas, that prison system, there's no water, there's no electricity, and these men and women are going to bathroom in trash bags, and they're receiving bottled water. It's unacceptable, y'all. 50% of the products in your house right now, in here right now, are made from someone incarcerated. 50% of stuff that's in your house that you don't even know. And 100 million people are living with an arrest or conviction record. 100 million people. So we got other work to do. Alongside of fighting for our color barriers and our rights and all those things. We got a lot of work to do. One more time, tell them what you need and prayer and everything.
I need all the prayers for Anthony Segura. I don't want my brother, because he's going to get well, I don't want him to go back to jail, because he's not the same person. It's been a lot of years without being home. And I want you guys, whatever information you guys can give me, please let Roxy know how we can do it. Because now we have to wait for him to wake up. It's a long, long journey for my brother now. He cannot go back. He needs to come home. And don't judge him, because nobody knows the type of person he is. He made a mistake, and believe me, he has been paying it for a long time and had regretted. You got anything to say?
Just thank you and keep our family and my brother in your prayers. That's the most that we need right now.
A lot of prayers for Anthony Segura. And thank you for listening. And please do not judge, because you don't know the type of person my brother is. He did make a mistake, and believe me, he has regretted this mistake for a long time already.
So yep, we're going to send some prayers for Anthony Segura, his entire family. And again, if you can, whatever you can do, you guys, any services that you can provide the family, reach out to me. RoxyFabGirl@gmail.com. That's GURL. And the phone number is 917-397-0998. This has been the Roxy Fab Show. Thank you.
God bless everyone.